want to speak about what it takes to see the vision of God come to reality in our lives. And I'm going to use Abraham as an example of someone who walked out the vision God had for his life through a journey of faith. The first thing that we learn from Abraham's story is that his present reality did not line up with the vision that God had for his life. A big part of the vision that God speaks over Abraham's life about how he will be a blessing and how he will bless others is around the fact that he will become a father of many, a father of multitudes. Yet when God speaks this vision into Abraham's life for the first time, he is 75 years old and he doesn't have a single child of his own. And through a period of 25 years, God continually speaks this word, this vision over Abraham's life. Where at the age of 99, God says to him that, Abraham, I'm going to change your name from Abram to Abraham, which means the father of multitudes. And as yet, he didn't have a single child born from his wife, Sarah. And so, when Abraham is living through this period of his life, his reality, his present reality, was not lining up with the vision that God was speaking over his life. If the vision that we carry in our lives is something that measures up to our reality, then it probably isn't a vision from God. Because God's vision will always require faith. It will require us to believe that God is going to do something in and through ourselves and our church and our community that is bigger than what we see in the present reality. The second thing that we see about God's vision for Abraham's life is that God always values quality over quantity. My human logic would say to me that if God wants to speak over my life at the age of 75 and say, I'm going to become the father of a multitude, then I should have gotten married young, had many children at a young age, and by 75 I should maybe have 10 children and 40 grandchildren. And then if God speaks over my life that I'm going to be this father of a multitude, then yes, God, that makes sense. Look, I've got all these children, that lines up with what I'm seeing, and you can use all of these many kids to accomplish this purpose. But even at age 99, when Abraham already had a son from another woman, Ishmael, God said, no, I'm not going to work through Ishmael. So my purpose was for you and for Sarah as a couple together, and through you will be born this one son, Isaac. And I'm going to fulfill all of the purpose that I have for your life. I'm going to fulfill it through this one son, Isaac. And you see, God values quality over quantity. And the way I see it is that God had been preparing Abraham for 100 years. He'd noticed in Abraham that he's a man of faith. But God was busy refining that faith so that when this one son, Isaac, was born, Abraham could distill in him the same faith that he showed towards God. Because God was looking not for many people who maybe have a little bit or no faith. God's looking for one person who has faith in him. God can do far more through one person who has real faith in God than through 1,000 people who have wishy-washy faith. Now here's where the story of Abraham becomes really interesting and challenging. Just listen to these few verses from chapter 22 of Genesis. It says this: God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, take now your son, your only son whom you love, Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I will tell you. And listen to what Abraham does. So Abraham rose early in the morning, took Isaac his son, split wood, and went to the place which God had told him. God wasn't intending for Abraham to kill his son Isaac. It was all of this was designed by God as a test. He got up that next morning. He didn't challenge or question God for a moment, but he got up and he went and he took his son to go and do what God had told him to do. Which brings us to the third part of what it means to see God's vision come to reality in our life, and it's this: that God's vision will always test our obedience until it is complete. What is it that Abraham must have been thinking at this time? Was he thinking, maybe it isn't Isaac, maybe God is going to use Ishmael actually instead, or maybe God is going to give me another son if I have to kill Isaac. But at this point, really, him and his wife, they're so far beyond the stage of being able to have more children. And Hebrews actually tells us what Abraham was thinking. Abraham decided in his heart to believe that this God, who had told him that he would have the son, had given him the son, and had now told him to go and sacrifice the son, that this God would raise to life Isaac from the dead. Because God had not said it would be someone else. God said he was going to work this plan specifically through Isaac. Now, we all, as believers, believe that God can raise the dead, but we believe that about someone somewhere over there. This is believing that God will raise your very son to life right in front of your very eyes. And often for us, the test of obedience is this: do I love God and being obedient to him more than the actual vision being fulfilled? Am I willing to sacrifice the vision in obedience to God? Because God will continually test our obedience until it is complete. And when our obedience is complete in the vision and the calling that God has for our lives, then we will see the true fruit of what God wants to do in and through our lives, through our communities, through our churches. I hope that this video was helpful or meaningful to you. Please subscribe to our channel, like if you like this video, share it with your friends on Facebook or any other platform you like, and we'll see you guys next time.